This week's episode of Peacemaker was quite the filler episode. No, I'm kidding. I mean, obviously it was a filler episode. It was a shorter episode, but it gave us so much details, so much to inhale, so much to take in. Let's start at the top. We are 35 years ago in 1990, and Augie is hunting with his two children. And he shoots down what he thinks to be a deer, or I don't know, whatever he thinks is hunting. And to me, it sounded like a monkey, honestly. Maybe that was just like a callback to Lex's portal dimension in Superman. But it's actually not a monkey. It is whatever this thing is, whatever this alien-looking thing. It honestly looks like maybe a younger version of the Hunchback dimensional being from the first two episodes. But he shoots it. It's kind of just crawling away. And he's about to put it out of its misery. And Chris is like, no, don't do it. And he's like, boy, don't tell me what to do. And then he ends it, and then he slaps Chris. He then proceeds to go through the little door that he saw. Whatever this is. Actually, one of the kids pointed it out to him, but whatever that was, it's the QUC. And Chris finds the unit, this portable unit. But moving on, we are now in present time with Chris. As he gets home, looks up and notices that there's bullet holes in his roof and his place is a mess. And at first he thinks he just Eagly did it, as Eagly is off in the fridge trying to get, as Chris said, his food and not Eagly's food. That's where Chris's food is. Eagly's food is over there. After that, though, Argus, we then cut to them, and they're preparing to raid Chris's house. And Econogoat, says it right there in the name, Econogoat, with his awful spelling. You know what, I'm gonna give him a little bit of lackluster, he's doing it off the side. But Econogoat warns Peacemaker, and he runs to grab the QUC moving device, not the mobile QUC. I feel like mobile QUC would have just been easier to say. But hey, moving on, he grabs it, and he runs. He manages to evade Argus, but doesn't evade Judo Master. They're going at it, and then he finally throws him down a hill. He also goes down the hill, and they're safe and sound. When we cut to Adebayo, she's looking at the ad that she now got in this magazine that, newsflash, Peacemaker later tells her that it's a scam. Shocker. And she's trying to text Kia, and she wants to text Kia, and wants Kia to be proud of her, honestly. And you can see by the string of text, it's not even a string, it's one text right up there, where she's just kind of sending a bunch of angry emojis. And then, boom, saved by the Chris. She goes to pick him up, and he explains everything to her. Well, everything but the fact that he offed his brother. He calls Adrian and says, yo, I need some doors and hinges. And they go up to his grandfather's estate. As Argus has now broken into Peacemaker's house, Econogoat is with Red St. Wild, and he has Eagly in his visions. And that's when Econogoat decides to be the goat and pushes him and opens his third eye. You feel me? That third eye? Chris asks Econogoat to stall for time, as Econogoat is hacking the QUC door. In the middle of all this, while they're hacking the QUC door, Chris is setting up a new QUC door at his grandfather's estate. It comes down to the wire, and then obviously Peacemaker manages to transfer the QUC door before Sasha opens. She calls Rick Flag Sr., and she's like, I got nothing. Rick Flag Sr. calls up someone and goes, get me Harcourt address. He goes to Harcourt, and immediately as he walks through the door, the first thing he sees is actually this photo that she took in season 1 of Peacemaker, Vigilante, and all them after their big save. And you can see it written on his face what he's there for and how he feels. And he is indeed there, to chit-chat. No, he's not there to chit-chat. But he lets her know, you have indeed been black-booked by Waller. Although I think Flag low-key black-booked her. I feel like it was his doing. Why would Waller do that? I get the whole, I don't want to retaliate against my child. Someone has to get it. But at the same time, don't you think it's a little suspicious? Maybe instead of Waller doing it as she got out the door, Flag did it as he got in the door. That's a thought. And then he proceeds to say, there's one way to get in the good graces of Argus. Only one singular way to get in the good graces of the U.S. government. Bring me Peacemaker. And then ironically enough, 2 minutes later, Peacemaker texts her, hey, we gotta meet up. Let's meet up. She tells him where to meet up, and then she tells Flag Sr. where he is meeting her. At the end of the episode, we are with Chris as he's on the way to this setup Amelia Harcourt set up. As we can see, Flag Sr. is hiding in the bushes, while Harcourt is sitting on the bench, while Peacemaker is on the way. Judo Master and Econogoat are my goats. The way they interact in this season is just so perfect, and the way they hate each other and then instantly turn on Red St. Wild because he's the bigger threat. It's just so fucking funny. But what can we expect from next week's episode? Next week is The Catalyst. That's not the name of the episode or anything, but it's episode 5, which means it's the last episode that the critics viewed. I think that in next episode, they are going to capture Mr. Chris, Mr. Peacemaker, while Rick Flag Sr. is beating him up and interrogating him beforehand, as, you know, we've already seen in the trailers. I think as that's going on, he's going to be like, well, you know, your son's alive in the other universe, right? In the newest trailer for next week's episode, we actually hear Chris say, I know redemption is not possible, at least not in this dimension. I think, I don't know, obviously, but I'm 99% sure that this was in the context that he is in that same room, this room, with Rick Flag Sr., and he goes, let's go to the other universe. Let me dip out. And then he uses that vulnerable moment to get out and get to the other universe, the other dimension. And then this is where shit goes down. End of episode 5, I'm calling it, is going to be that line we heard where Flag says, get me to Belle Reve or whatever. And then episode 6, we're going to see Lex. And I'm thinking that's where we're going from here. And then from there, maybe the Justice Gang gets called in, or maybe just Superman gets called in. I don't know. But where there's Lex, there's Superman. And you can't tell me otherwise, because that's literally the case at the moment. I know it's just one movie, but their sequel is together, so it's technically 2 movies. And if you really want to take it a step further, it's really 3 movies, or well, 2 movies and a show. But that's all I have for today, y'all boys. If you like the content, make sure you leave it a like, give me a follow, subscribe, all that, and I will see y'all in the next one.